Have you ever felt that something is wrong in your life, but you can't explain exactly what it is? No matter how hard you try to improve, something seems to pull you back into the same mistakes, the same toxic cycles, the same destructive patterns. Maybe it's that inner voice that convinces you to give up right when you're closest to success, or that sudden anger that explodes out of nowhere, ruining moments that didn't even seem important. Perhaps it's envy, shame, or a fear of failure that keeps you frozen, procrastinating, and hiding from your potential. Carl Jung believed this is no accident. These are not random flaws or bad luck. They are the work of a hidden force inside you, a force you've spent your entire life ignoring, but one that has never stopped shaping your choices, your relationships, and your identity. He called it the shadow. The question is not whether you have one, because we all do. The real question is, how much is your shadow controlling you without you even realizing it? From the very beginning of your life, you were taught how to behave. As a child, the world around you whispered rules, sometimes gently, sometimes harshly. Stop crying, it's not that bad. Don't be angry, nobody likes a troublemaker. Be polite, be quiet, be good. Don't be selfish, share everything. On the surface, these lessons were meant to shape you into a decent person. But underneath, something else was happening. Every time you silenced your anger, swallowed your tears, or hid your true desires, you weren't erasing them. You were burying them. So where did they go? Into the depths of your unconscious. They didn't vanish. They didn't lose their power. They became part of what Carl Jung called the shadow, the hidden side of your personality that holds every part of you that the world told you was unacceptable. Your shadow is made of everything you rejected to be loved, to be safe, to be accepted. The anger you were told was bad, the ambition labeled as selfish, the sadness dismissed as weakness, the desires that others shamed you for, and here lies the truth most people never realize. What you repress doesn't disappear. It waits. It hides beneath the surface, gathering strength, and when you least expect it, it emerges, sabotaging your relationships, your success, and your peace of mind. Think of your life like an iceberg. Above the water is what everyone sees, your polite smile, your calm words, your social mask. That's the part you've carefully shaped to be acceptable. But beneath the surface, massive, hidden, and dangerous, lies your shadow. And even if you don't see it, it is shaping your life. It shows up in the moments you can't explain. The sudden anger that explodes over something trivial. The envy that burns when someone achieves what you secretly desire. The paralyzing fear that stops you from stepping into opportunities you claim you want. These aren't accidents. They are messages from your shadow, the parts of you you've tried to deny, but which continue to demand recognition. And here's the most unsettling truth. The more you ignore your shadow, the more control it has over you. You think you're the one making choices, but in reality, the choices are being shaped by the very parts of yourself you refuse to face. Carl Jung described the shadow as the hidden part of your psyche, the side of you that you refuse to see, but that never stops existing. It is not abstract, and it is not distant. It is here, within you, right now. It's the box in which you've thrown every feeling, every desire, every instinct that didn't fit the image of the good person you thought you had to be. When you were told not to be angry, you pushed your anger inside. When you were told wanting more made you arrogant, you buried your ambition. When you were told showing sadness made you weak, you silenced your tears. And when you were told to always be nice, you hid your selfishness, your competitiveness, your desire to win. Piece by piece, you amputated parts of yourself, not because they were evil, but because the world convinced you they were unacceptable. But here's the paradox. What you repress doesn't die. It becomes part of your shadow. Your shadow is like the dark basement of your mind, a place you rarely visit, but where everything you've ever denied still lives. It carries your anger, your fear, your shame, your jealousy, but also your strength, your creativity, your raw passion, and your wild freedom. That's why Jung warned, the shadow is not only made of darkness, it also contains the very energy you need to live fully, but because it's hidden, it leaks out in distorted, destructive ways. For example, when you feel irrational hatred towards someone confident, it may be because you buried your own desire to express yourself boldly. When you harshly criticize someone who craves recognition, it may be because deep down you too want to be seen, but you've repressed that need. When you feel envy towards someone's success, it may be because you suffocated your own ambition long ago. On the surface, it feels like you're reacting to others, but in truth, you're facing yourself, your shadow reflected back at you. Think about it this way. Your conscious personality, the one you proudly show the world, is only a fraction of who you really are. The rest, the desires, fears, impulses, and truths you've pushed away, are still alive, waiting in the dark. And no matter how hard you try to ignore them, your shadow always finds a way to act. The most dangerous thing about the shadow is this: it doesn't announce itself. It doesn't knock on your door and say, "Here I am." It works in silence, shaping your reactions, your choices, and your identity without you even realizing it. You think you are in control, but in truth, your shadow is pulling the strings. One of the main ways it operates is through projection. Instead of seeing the truth inside yourself, you see it in others. You judge someone as arrogant, when in reality, you've buried your own desire to be confident. You resent someone's ambition, when deep down, you've repressed your own drive to succeed. You feel contempt for someone who craves attention, but secretly, a part of you also longs to be recognized. What you deny in yourself, you attack in others. Another subtle weapon of the shadow is self-sabotage. This is why you procrastinate when it matters most, why you quit right before success, why you make the same wrong choices again and again. Because deep inside, your shadow whispers, "You don't deserve this. You're not ready. Stay small. Stay safe." The shadow would rather keep you in familiar pain than let you risk the unknown of growth. It convinces you to fail before you've even begun, so you can avoid the terrifying possibility of change. And then there are your relationships. Have you noticed how some people seem cursed to repeat the same toxic patterns, attracting partners who ignore them, betray them, devalue them? This isn't random. It's the shadow at work. If your shadow is filled with rejection, you unconsciously seek people who reject you. If it's filled with insecurity, you're drawn to people who make you doubt yourself even more. Your shadow wants to express itself, and it uses your relationships as its stage. The truth is chilling. The shadow doesn't just influence your life, it lives it for you. You think your decisions are conscious, but many of them are being made by the buried parts of you that you refuse to face. And as long as you deny the shadow, you will continue to repeat the same cycles over and over again, believing it's fate, when in reality it's you. How do you know when your shadow is in control? The truth is, it's not always obvious. It doesn't shout, it whispers. But if you look closely, the signs are everywhere. Constant projection. Have you ever noticed how certain people irritate you far more than they should? Their confidence, their ambition, their need for attention, it triggers something deep inside you. That reaction is rarely about them. It's about you. The shadow makes you despise in others what you refuse to accept in yourself. Self-sabotage. Think about the times you were on the verge of success, and somehow everything fell apart. You procrastinated, you doubted yourself, you walked away just before the finish line. This wasn't bad luck. It was your shadow whispering, "You don't deserve this. Stay small." Toxic relationships. Do you keep attracting the same kind of partners? The ones who neglect you, use you, or belittle you? This isn't coincidence, it's repetition. Your shadow pulls you toward people who reflect the wounds you carry inside. Fear of judgment. Do you avoid speaking up, afraid of being criticized or laughed at? That fear doesn't come from the present. It comes from old shame buried long ago. Your shadow is still protecting you from wounds that no longer exist, keeping you trapped in silence. The feeling of emptiness. And perhaps the most painful sign, that gnawing emptiness. You have food, shelter, maybe even success. But something is missing. You feel incomplete, unsatisfied, as if part of you is forever absent. That emptiness is the cost of all the pieces of yourself you cut away to be acceptable. The truth is, everyone has a shadow. The danger isn't in having one, it's in pretending it doesn't exist. Because when you deny it, the shadow runs your life, and you call it fate. The shadow you ignore does not disappear. It waits. It gathers strength in the dark, and when the time comes, it erupts. You can spend years pretending certain emotions don't exist. You can bury your anger under politeness. You can deny your desires with excuses. You can hide your wounds behind a smile. But eventually, the shadow breaks through. And when it does, it doesn't ask for permission. Repressed anger turns into explosions of rage, destroying relationships and opportunities. Denied desires return as addictions, compulsions, and self-destructive habits. Buried traumas emerge as anxiety attacks, depression, and even physical illnesses medicine cannot explain. And don't think the shadow only harms your inner world. It shapes your outer life too. If you ignore your fear of abandonment, you may cling desperately to toxic relationships, terrified of being alone. If you deny your ambition, you may sabotage your own career, convincing yourself that success was never meant for you. If you hide your true desires, you may drift through life restless, frustrated, never knowing why happiness feels so far away. The greatest danger of all is when the shadow takes full control. You've seen it before in people consumed by bitterness, by resentment, by hatred of the world. They weren't born this way. They simply spent a lifetime repressing their wounds until the wounds began to live them. And perhaps the most devastating cost is depersonalization, that haunting sense of being a stranger in your own skin. You no longer feel connected to who you really are, because in your attempt to erase your darkness, you cut away essential parts of yourself. And what's left is an emptiness that no success, no distraction, no pleasure can ever fill. Ignoring your shadow might feel safer in the short term, but in the long term, it is the most dangerous choice you can make, because the parts of yourself you reject will eventually reject you. Carl Jung taught something vital. The shadow is not your enemy. It is not a monster to destroy. It is a part of you, forgotten, repressed, and misunderstood. Integration does not mean erasing the shadow. It means bringing it into the light. The first step is awareness. Start by noticing your emotional triggers. When someone irritates you, stop and ask, what does this reaction reveal about me? Often, the traits that bother you in others are the same traits you've denied in yourself. The second step is acceptance. Allow yourself to feel what you've spent years suppressing. Anger, envy, fear, desire. Don't judge them, don't run from them. Sit with them and say, yes, this too is part of me, because the shadow only controls you when you pretend it doesn't exist. The moment you face it, its power begins to fade. The third step is expression. Find ways to give your shadow a voice without letting it dominate. Write in a journal about the parts of yourself you reject. Ask yourself, what am I most afraid others might discover about me? Engage in inner dialogue. Imagine speaking to your shadow, asking what it wants, and listening without fear. At first, it will be uncomfortable, but with time, you'll see that the shadow isn't here to destroy you. It's here to complete you. The anger you buried can become strength. The fear you denied can become wisdom. The desire you suppressed can become creativity. Every part of you that was repressed can be transformed into fuel for growth. The energy you once used to hide yourself can now be used to build yourself. Integration is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong practice. But the more you bring your shadow into the light, the more whole you become. And the more whole you become, the less control the shadow has over you. In facing the darkness, you reclaim the power that has always been yours. By now, you may understand what the shadow is, how it controls you, and how to begin integrating it. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Most people will never do this work. Why? Because facing the shadow is not easy. It means abandoning the illusion that you already know who you are. It means confronting your deepest fears, your hidden desires, and your darkest truths. It means admitting that much of the pain in your life is not just fate or bad luck, but the result of your own unconscious patterns. And for many, that is unbearable. So instead, they choose denial. They keep repeating the same mistakes. They keep blaming society, their parents, their partners, anyone but themselves. They cling to the comfort of their illusions, even when those illusions keep them trapped. They walk through life half asleep, projecting their wounds onto others, feeding resentment and calling it destiny. They never integrate the shadow, and so the shadow consumes them. But you, if you've listened this far, it means something inside you is different. It means you feel the call to break free. It means you're ready to face what most people run from. Yes, it will be uncomfortable. Yes, it will be painful at times, but it will also be liberating, because only by embracing your shadow do you reclaim your wholeness. The question now is simple. Will you go back to denial, pretending nothing has changed, or will you take the harder path, the path of truth, of self-awareness, of transformation? Most people will look away, but you don't have to. You can choose to become the rare exception, the one who dares to face the darkness, and in doing so, finally discovers the light.